Hello, this is Kim Malinowski. It appears with the sunlight now and the shadow that this is a day of dichotomies, you know. I think I can't even really tell, but I'm like almost split. Um and this is for well, when I'm recording it, it's February 3rd. It's really timeless, but I usually say for the Terra Nova Lyceum, which is who I draw for primarily, that is for this week. And if you find it later on, whether you're in TNL or you're just on the web searching, because I have like oh no, so many videos now, then please just take it as you're reading if you feel it. If you don't, reject it and like another, whatever you need to do. Um, been weird. I'm not makeuped up again. This time not for honesty, but for practicality. Um, Kim is Kim is like in like lots of allergic reactions, and so you probably, hopefully, because of the shadow, can't tell too badly about my eyes. They wake up with them really gross and puffy and awful, and they do not feel so great. Because the insulation that I talked about last week was put in, and the attic doors were open into Kim's room, office. I don't have an office right now. It has all the stuff in that I cannot put back myself because I'm too allergic, despite the plastic bags that my mother has to put them in. She won't be able to carry them, and I don't know if it is, like, health-wise. I don't know if I should give back my office or not, like, do I risk a huge reaction? I haven't decided. Well, we'll see. It sort of just depends on how persistent my parents are, and then I'll just be like, "Alright, whatever. If I die, I die." Um, hence life, you know? And I think we're probably gonna use these probably this week and next week. This is the Love Oracle of Eden, and I just bought it, first of all. It is expensive, but it is multi-generational. If there's people with silver hair, oh my gosh. And they are, divine beings and they have silver hair. It's cool. All types of nationalities of African American, African cultures, like oh, it's beautiful. Like, I'm sorry. Like, whenever I see like any type of diversity in tarot, I have to go because there's so little of it. Okay. So, I mean, like, to have like within one deck several shades of color is amazing and it is beautiful. And in our cards that I pulled just now, we have a range. And I'm just like, oh, arranged. And there's some divine beings as they're described in the booklet. Not really gonna use the booklet. I have it like holding its place. It's just a sort of simple booklet, like talking about the artwork and that sort of stuff. It doesn't really the meaning is on the cards. So I mean like it's more of an intuitive sort of sense deck. And oh gosh. I'll just get into it. And like if I go please don't be like, "Oh my god, she's seen a black person before for the first time." I'm like, "No, of course not." But like representation is everything. And some of these divine beings are definitely female, some are definitely male, and some are definitely somewhere on the spectrum in between. And diversity is beautiful. Okay? And like I have to admit that I've sort of been like, well, I'm not really, female. I'm not quite, gender nonconforming. I'm somewhere I think like there's a spectrum, you know? So I have to appreciate that even like there is a spectrum, you know? So, all right. So I'm gonna hold up the books again. Okay. And they actually have like a whole African deck. Okay. I just read about it. I it is not proper for me to use it, I don't think, but, like, if you find it and you decide that it is for you, please, please, like, let me know. I love to see it. I wasn't gonna open the deck. I did see it, I didn't know that it was by the same people. Um, But like I said, there's certain things that I own as proper and certain things I don't. Sometimes it resonates for different people differently. But this is just my personal it was just not for me, not for Kim, you know? Okay. But this love oracle of Eden, as we get closer to Valentine's Day and also Beltane, okay, we can do both, right? If you're not in the United States and you're like, oh, what's this American Valentine's Day? Actually, I don't know if other people celebrate it or not. Sorry, man. I'm I'm uncouth and uncultured and oh my goodness. I didn't silence my thing. So I just like I think it just like said I was uncouth, didn't it? Like if it dings and goes, okay. So there is a nice little like hardback booklet, okay? And like, yes, you're gonna see like the sunlight and the everything else, and I'm gonna make these as much as you can see as possible, both in the shadow and in the sunlight, depending on I think it actually looks better in the shadow. Okay. So the first card that we picked was love. Okay. And I thought that was interesting because like I struggle with the word. Whenever I tell somebody I love them, they don't tell me that back. Not in writing, not out loud. So I don't say love very often, except maybe in my poetry. And even then I use synonyms. So there is, according to the book, this divine being who is sort of doing the Aphrodite and just like pouring rose petals on themselves. And it is meant for self-love and romantic love, which I thought was interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so I think that we are being called. The book itself says that they hope to soften the world with this, to soften people with this. And I think that means not just like, oh, we're not at war, but I think, it is compassion. They were, it talked about empathy. And I think we'll talk about empathy as well. But there's a difference between empathy and compassion. Actually, I was talking about this. I listened to a podcast about it, and I'll get back into it as we go. So I think it's interesting in how like actual psychology and scientific, it's scientific papers are describing it. So this is love, so not quite compassion, but definitely like and perhaps we during this time do need to realize that even if we aren't partnered up or aren't I'm always wearing black on Valentine's Day and we're like, whatever. Perhaps we need to like at least acknowledge that there's love in the world and that we need to love ourselves. And like this reading begins with love, okay? So that means that it's emphasized for us. That doesn't mean we're going to find romance the next day. It doesn't mean any of that nature. But, it could mean we need to soften ourselves, just like the author sort of said. Okay, so I like that idea of softening. And since she said it, I was like, okay, okay. Inspire. Now, inspire is an interesting card. If I can get it. Mm, I can't even tell if you can read. You can see it. That's what's awful with this light. There you go. Want to get it a little bit closer. Okay, and if you can't see it, because it is sort of an odd sort of color, muted color. It's very muted. It looks like a divine being, and I would say if you had to like pick somebody, it'd be like an albino woman. I really want you to see this. This is what it's annoying. Maybe you can see that. Okay. So it's sort of like there's like a lack of color. And yet I feel like this age and wisdom with her and with this child. And the idea is that we are inspiring each other. Child inspires the adult inspires the child. And by this interaction, divine or no, we're meant to, I think, feel sparks and feel energized and feel excited about life. And I know that is something that I need. Okay. So, this idea of like just going out there, being with people or nature or with a dog or whatever. Really looking at the small details, okay? And being inspired by them. All right, now we're going to get to this empathy. All right, what they're describing in here is compassion. I think they have another one that's compassion, but like with empathy, they're saying to feel what the other feels, but they're also saying to do stuff about it, you know? And like compassion, it turns out, is something that doesn't need replenished according to science, at least right now. Science changes, right? Psychology changes. So the idea is that this person can like have endless compassion, you know, and they made it very clear in the book that it's interracial, okay? And that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter sexuality, it doesn't matter anything. And that was also in the book, which is brilliant. Um, so, but you want to like feel the other person's feelings according to empathy. Now, so that's what it's calling for technically. What it really is sort of saying is that we need compassion, which is endless. We can help each other endlessly. The example that was given in the video that I watched slash listened to was that his wife was cold, so he gave her a blanket. But if he had sat next to her and shivered and was also upset and was cold, that would tire him out. He would not be able to continue on forever indefinitely. And that's interesting. We can do for others, we can have other stuff done for us, but empathy we have to limit. And perhaps that is the beginning of it. We have empathy. We're like, "Oh, yes, I hear you. I understand some of your pain. I can, like, feel what I think you feel," and then go from there on how to act and have compassion, okay? Abundance. And this is like an atypical reading for me because I only have one set of cards. I will admit that all my cards are really, in my office that I can't get to. Alright, now I wanna read what they say about abundance because I think it's interesting when they're talking about the art, okay? To shower others with abundance of you, to generously give all you can, such as time and love to others. A being lays on a bed of clouds, surrounded by plentiful flowers, overflowing from a cornucopia, a symbol of abundance. Abundance and blessings go beyond the material, your time, energy, and overall essence, all things that don't necessarily equate to tangible items, but are powerful offerings deserving reverence. So it's deserving reverence, right? It's sort of like almost like you acting as a divine, right? Inserting yourself, having that empathy, that compassion, loving yourself at the same time, not giving too much, not depleting yourself, filling yourself up with inspiration. All right. And then our final card is patience. This is something that I need because I want all those things, but it's having a hard time. It's a difficult time for me. I'm sure it's a difficult time for everybody. It's winter in the northern hemisphere. That's never been good for me. A lot of people suffer. I have a unique situation going on right now, but I mean everyone does. It's just a different story. So what they say for patience, which I think that you need to see, if there is something you desire, keep working toward it and be patient. It will come with time. Allow others the same grace and space to make mistakes. A being channels Eros, also known as Cupid, in waiting. If there is something you desire, keep the faith and continue moving towards it. All will come to be as it should be in aligned time. And the quotation, everything I desire comes to me at exactly the right moment. And I read this because we get this pretty much a lot, like in terms of my readings and Dalva's readings, patience comes up a lot. And maybe we just have to wait a little bit longer. And I'm not saying that we don't have to move forward ourselves and that we don't have to take people in the hand and, and maybe you need to shake them a little, right? I mean, like, sometimes we have to do what we have to do. And sometimes it's difficult to do what we have to do. And sometimes there's nothing that we can do. And that's sometimes even, well, it is much worse. Okay. But I want to end again. Start on love, end on love. Okay. So I feel your love. And I know that I am blessed and held up. And every time that I am on Facebook and everything, people are brilliantly lovely for the most part. I gotta say everybody, okay? Like most people. And I truly thank all my friends out there, especially the ones that really don't know me or just know me from my writing. And thank you. This is my card to you. And hopefully, I feel, it's not even hopefully, I feel this card towards me. And I thank you very much. And I will be doing probably the reading next time, and it will be more like towards Valentine's Day. So we might use these cards again. Because I don't know if I'll get to any of my lovers decks. Um, right now it's like my grandmother's blocker and grandma's papers, and yeah, so um just trying to go into my room. Well, my bedroom now is clear so that I can have a space I can bring up a table if I have to, so that I can teach these Zoom readings. But yeah, so let's end on love and not complaining. So love, patience, abundance, empathy, inspire. Good words to live by. Take care. Be blessed. Happy in bulk. For those of you that celebrate, happy for those of you who don't. If you're in the United States, I have no idea if the groundhog saw his shadow or not. Let's hope that it was rainy enough because it was rainy, so therefore, like I think the goddess, I don't know how to pronounce her name, was probably like asleep, therefore less winter. So let's say less winter. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy sun. Find it. All right. Bye bye.